Alright students, here we have a shape, and this shape is technically considered a composite shape, and a composite shape is a shape that is formed with other polygons, and in this case there's two polygons. So what we can do is that we need to kind of cut this shape and make sure that we make two regular polygons very, very visible to us. Now in this case, we can see now that we have a large rectangle here and then a smaller rectangle here. Okay, so now we have two shapes. This question, if you look at the bottom, is wanting you to find the area, right? So since we have two shapes, we're going to have to find two different areas, and then at the end, add them together, because we want to find the area for the composite shape, and this composite shape is made up of two rectangles. Okay, so let's go ahead and label our dimensions first. Okay, so it looks like here we have this line segment is 5 inches, while this one is 2 inches, which would mean that this is also 2 inches here, and this section right here would be 5. Okay. Now, if I look over on the top rectangle, it tells me that this is 4 inches, while this is 6 inches, which means this would equal to 4, and this would equal to 6 inches. Okay, now that we know what the dimensions are like, let's move to the area. Now we know all of the dimensions, and we also know that area is equal to length times width. Okay, but remember, since we have two shapes, we have to do area twice. And then once we find those two areas, we have to add them to give us the total area of the composite shape. So let's start with the one on the top, the rectangle at the top. Okay, the length in this case is 6. And the width in this case is 4. 6 times 4 would be equal to 24 inches squared. So the area for this top rectangle would be 24 inches squared. Let's do this all over again, because we have another shape to take care of, which is this bottom rectangle right here. This one right there. Okay, so let's work that one out. Area, we're working with area again. Area is equal to length times width. Okay, the length for this bottom rectangle is 5, while the length for this, while the width is 2. 5 times 2 is equal to 10 inches squared. So then I can go ahead and label it in here, 10 inches squared. And you can clearly see now that we have found the two areas for the two rectangles. And with this composite shape, for our final answer, we need to make sure that we add both these areas together to get a final area for a composite shape. Okay, so I have 24 inches squared plus 10 inches squared, which would give me 34 inches squared. This 34 inches squared would be my answer. Hello students, here we have a rectangle. It's a quadrilateral, it has 4 sides. What is also given to us is the perimeter. And we know that the perimeter is the area around the shape, all of it. Okay, with that in mind, it looks like they have given us one dimension. We are still missing this dimension, and most importantly, that dimension. So if we first we have to label, and knowing what we know about the measurement of this line segment, which is 6 feet, we can assume that this side is also 6 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. So far we have the length is 6 feet down here, the length is 6 feet up there in that line segment. Now let's take a look at the lines that are running vertically, which is this line right here and this line right here. We do not know what those measure. If we know that we're talking about P, perimeter, I can tell you that the formula is P is equal to something plus something plus something plus something. Those are the 4 sides that you have to add up. So you have length plus width, the 4 sides. Okay? We have 2 of the dimensions already, 2 of the lengths. We have 6 and we have 6. We are not given the other widths. We are also given the perimeter, which is 16. So we need to figure the width and the width out. All right? So just by what we have, I'm going to rewrite the formula, 6 plus 6 plus width plus width. I can start working out this expression. 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. I bring everything else down. Plus width plus width. Okay? Now, from here, I need to get the w's by themselves because I need to be able to figure out what is the width. I'm going to go ahead and take 16 and subtract 12, which should give me the widths. 16 minus 12 is 4. Now, if I look here, 4 feet is a measurement for the 2 widths. I only want to figure out one of the widths. So what I would have to do is, since there's 2 w's here, I would take the 4 and divide it by 2 because I want to figure out just one of the widths, which would give me 2. So 2 feet would be my width, which would then mean that 2 feet would be the other width. Now make sure, and you can always check your work by adding the actual dimensions. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16 feet, which checks out with our perimeter that was given to us. So our missing dimension in our final answer should be 2